Yo, what's poppin' everybody? It's the Saber 4. The Astral Radiance set is upon us just in a few days. Very strong, very exciting set when it comes to the variety of different power attackers and Pokemon here. So as I usually do, I'm gonna give you guys some emerging decks when it comes to decks focusing on Pokemon from this set. As always, remember, this is just emerging decks. Some of these are gonna be definitely tier 1, tier 0. Some are just ideas for you to build. It's not really a top 10, and it's not all of the possibilities, just some options. Alright, first deck is definitely going to be tier 1 slash tier 0. It's a very easy Pokemon to point out. Is building a deck centered around Darkrai V-Star from this set. Face of the set, I think it's pretty obvious this card is going to be very strong if you have a little bit of experience with a Pokemon TCG. Very easy to build. You just pair this guy with Galarian Moltres V, and you basically have a straightforward, very fast, aggressive deck. When I talked about this card in my TCG rant for Astral Radiance, I did so without even realizing that Dark Patch is coming in Standard too. So, I mean, even without Dark Patch, that guy was going to be broken. Now that I know that we're getting Dark Patch and we can use Galarian Moltres V in Standard, I mean, damn. This guy's going to be fast as hell. You're going to be able to use Star Abyss to reuse your Dark Patches, and it's just going to be very, very powerful. Simple to use, powerful, going to kill off anything that's weak to darkness. It's going to be super afraid, like the Fusion Strike Mew decks are probably going to die out thanks to this guy. Definitely, if you want to build the strongest, fastest, and easiest deck, I guess, to use, is this guy. Now, coming after Darkrai V-Star, the other Darkness Pokemon is going to be Hisuian Samurott V-Star. This guy isn't going to be as fast and probably as strong as Darkrai, but I mean, you can still build a deck around this guy. He's dark, so once again, you can use dark patches that's basically coming back with this set to easily power him up. Just 2 energies. It won't be difficult to get the job done. And you can still use Galarian Moltres and use energy switches if you want to go that direction. But basically, the appeal of this guy is that if he hits a Pokemon that has damage counters on it already, you do 220, and that's 220 just for 2. So that's definitely powerful. Its Mooncleave Star ability kind of synergizes with that, and basically, if you're going to use this guy, you probably want to use him with Dark Patches to easily power up his attack, and then use the Galarian Zigzagoon, place more damage counters, and this guy is always hitting for 220. It's going to be pretty fast. You're not going to need a million of energies like Darkrai to do very high damage. Darkrai is probably going to be, I guess, the stronger Pokemon overall, but maybe this guy's going to be just as good. You never know. Just 2 energies isn't difficult to power up. Dark Patch is going to help you out a lot. And you just use Zigzagoons, or you can even use the Frog engine, like the Frog line that's always seen play somehow. Put 2 damage counters every turn with Inteleon, and you're always going to be able to meet this guy's extra condition, extra damage. I mean, between the 220, then 20 from Inteleon, that's 240, and damn, if you just include the choice build as well, before you know it, this guy's getting 1-hit KOs on V-Stars and just Vs, so maybe he's going to be just as good as Darkrai V-Star, or even better, so definitely keep an eye out on this guy too. When it comes to the other Hisuian starters, Hisuian Typhlosion V-Star is easily going to be paired up with Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. I think that's an obvious combination if you want to use this guy. Shadow Rider Calyrex is probably the best partner. Just to easily power the dude up. You can do 180 and put 3 damage counters on bench Pokemon. And I guess unlike other Pokemon, other VMAXs that are just going to give you raw power, this guy has the V-Star attack, V-Star power you can take advantage of. And if you use it right, you can get like an instant knockout, I guess. It's going to be something, I guess, but what really ruins this card is the darkness weakness, basically. I mean, it could have been something like an alternative deck you could try out, since he's easily compatible to be used with Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX to be powered up, and then you get a deck. But because darkness is going to be so strong, and this guy being weak to darkness, I don't see this card being very good against darkness decks. So it's an emerging deck. It's an option if you want to try him out. Probably the best way. In Expanded, you can do stuff like Malamar, I guess, and just other psychic energy acceleration. But in Standard, your only option is either something like Arceus VSTAR or just Shadow Rider Calyrex, and he just doesn't do that much. I mean, I guess the first attack is okay, but 260 HP is kind of low for the V-Stars, the other V-Stars anyway. And, I mean, his V-Star attack, I don't like it that much. I think the other guys just do a lot more. So that's Typhlosion. And then the Hisuian, not Galarian, the Hisuian Decidueye V-Star. This Pokemon is a fighting Pokemon, so it's not going to be easy to accelerate energies on. Because it just needs a fighting energy and a double colorless, I guess you can do the like new Turbo DC and power it up. But probably the best thing you can do to use this guy is pair him with Arceus V-Star, since he can get that energy acceleration and you power him up instantly basically. And this guy also uses the Turbo DC energy. Arceus V-Star also uses the Turbo DC energy, so they're going to pair up nicely together. So that's the easy way to power him up. And then you're also going to want to run a Whimsicott line. I think that's the Pokemon that does the energy adding thing. Basically, Whimsicott, it used to be a Cutifly did this too, and other cards. I think it's Whimsicott right now, but basically you grab, it's a stage 1, and then you grab 2 basic energies from your deck every turn. I think it's either that or a different sort of grass stage 1. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was Whimsicott. So you grab 2 energies turn after turn, and I mean, if you can discard 3 energies every turn to use this guy's attack, it's 240, so that's pretty powerful. Get 1-hit knockouts, once again, if you have the choice built on, that's 270. I mean, you're putting in the work. If you want to do like a barrel line as well, I mean, I guess that's another option. It's going to help. Or just not do Whimsicott at all and only do barrel with Arceus. But I think you're definitely going to need Whimsicott if you're going to consistently grab 2 energies turn after turn to gain the bonus. But that's basically the best way if you want to use Hisuian Decidueye. I can't really think of any other good way. It's just too easy to be paired up with Arceus, another great Pokemon. They're both compatible with the new DC from the previous set, so might as well. Okay, moving on to the Creation Legendary Duo that got bastardized basically. We got the Origin Form, the Alga V-Star deck, which you're easily going to be able to make with the Magnezone in this set. Giga Magnet, grab metal energies from the deck and attach them. Basically build it yourself like they do with these sets all the time basically. I mean, in Expanded you can use the older Magnezone that gives you straight energy acceleration from the hand, like Blastoise Rain Dance. I believe it's from Ultra Prism, yeah, the metal one. You can go that direction. It works in Standard actually and Expanded. You can use Metal Saucers. That's also another option, but probably not going to be the most effective. And Bronzong too, that moves energy around. The only thing that kind of makes this Pokemon a bit difficult to use with Metal Saucers and I guess Bronzong to move energies around is, I mean, if you want to do the V-Star attack, which is definitely, I mean, it's the main appeal of this guy. You do this, you skip your opponent's turn, just completely broken as fuck, extremely good. I mean, it needs 5 energies, so it's not going to be easy, which kind of makes me think you are going to need to use something like Giga Magnezone from this set, or the Magnezone from Ultra Prism and Expanded. I mean, those are your best options probably, but I guess you can go the Metal Saucer route as well. Bronzong, move energies around. Max Elixir, I guess, too, you can do with Metal Saucer and Bronzong and Expanded, and it's going to be kind of like Metal Box, Dark Box. I mean, that's the thing. And its first attack, of course, it's going to do high damage for the metal energies it has on. So pretty straightforward. This deck is definitely going to be strong once it gets rolling, if it gets rolling. But the difficulty is it's going to be slower than basically all of the other decks I mentioned. I mean, I guess maybe Decidueye might be on par with it a bit when it comes to speed, but it's definitely not going to be as fast as Darkrai, probably not going to be as fast as Samurott, and even the Typhlosion deck, because of Calyrex and the draw power you get, that's going to be faster too. So it's not going to be easy to build, it's probably not going to be consistent, but if you do make it, I mean, The Star Chronos attack is broken, and it's going to be powerful. Metal just has a lot of support, so you got a lot of options, a lot of utility. With cards like Aegislash, VMAXs, just a lot of different Pokemon. Okay, and for his counterpart in crime, Origin form Palkia, also looking very bastardized. These new forms I'm not a fan of, I'm not gonna lie. This guy's gonna be much easier to build. I mean, I don't think I need to say much. You just use this dude with Melanie, cheap energy. He just needs 2 energies to attack, so that's straightforward. 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon, so pretty much just like Suicune V, pretty much just like, I guess, the Ice Rider Calyrex decks. I mean, just very simple. You use Melanie, and you got a deck. If you want to do like Frostmoth, we still have that in the format, so you can go that direction as well. And basically, that's it. This guy's probably going to be, I guess, more quick than Dialga. It's just simpler to use. But Dialga is probably going to be tougher and more rewarding once you get it going. Just another option if you're the water dude, you want to build a water deck. I mean, it's probably definitely replacing something like Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX because it's just much. It's just it gives you less risk to use a Pokemon like this as opposed to a VMAX, Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. You know, you got the Star Portal ability too. So I mean, yeah, might as well use this guy as opposed to Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. I mean, you can still use your Suicunes with this dude as well. So it's all good. So that's Palkia. Next up, we got the grass options. Once again, really obvious build-it-yourself stuff. I mean, Hisuian Lilligant V-Star from this set with the new Gardenia supporter. Just power up this Pokemon, put the energy back in your hand. 230 for 3, respectable. Once again, with Choice Belt and any other add-ons, you can get significant one-hit KOs. So that's good. I mean, you compare this with Shaman V-Star, a bunch of other grass Pokemon. There's a bunch of options. What gives this Lilligant a lot of merit is basically going to be the Darkness Pokemon that are going to be weak to grass. Both Samurott and Darkrai are going to be weak to grass, so this is going to be your option for those that want to check, I guess, the hottest, most popular meta cards. Because I do think, Darkrai is probably going to be very popular. I mean, it's fucking Darkrai, it's fucking, Greninja Zoroark, the old Darkrai X2 sort of attack. Turbo shit, fun shit. I want to use this card too. Simple to use and fun. So, if you want to check those Darkness Pokemon, that's where Lilligant is going to come in, I suppose. Another benefit, I suppose, is the Star Perfume ability. At the very least, you know that if you want to use this dude, you can just instantly use your V-Star power super quick and then just set up, grab all of your grass Pokemon and energies and just set up super quick. So that's something, I guess. But that's about it. I mean, this Pokemon doesn't really have much else. 260 HP is kind of a little bit low. And I mean, I guess Fire, Charizard with Arceus, if it's still used, or if any other fire Pokemon, make an appearance, Magma Basin, you never know, it's a good stadium, it's going to check this card. And then for the other option, I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about this card, but Beedrill V, you can make a deck around this card for sure. Just 4 Beedrills and a few other Pokemon. You probably don't want to have just 4 basics in your deck, but basically just this guy only being the main attacker, the main Pokemon, and then a lot of consistency and speed cards, so you can get the Beedrills out, power this guy up easily with Gardenia, and then just start doing snipes for 200 and 150. I mean, that can be pretty tough. And if you can use cards to always recover the Beedrill that dies, if you can always make sure you have 4 Beedrills in play, so you can get that 200 snipe all the time, then maybe this is something. I don't know if it's really going to be a deck, but I think maybe somebody's going to figure out a way to just make a turbo shit deck where you just get all of the Beedrills out, start sniping around, and then you always recover them. Kind of like some other decks in the past. Maybe it's just going to be a theory, I guess, looking good on paper and not going to happen. The snipe is good, but just 200 damage on its own. I mean, if your sniping is good, if you're hitting the active, then it's not so great. It's not so special. But that's about it, basically. Another strategy you might want to consider that's going to be pretty annoying, but probably not going to be very consistent, I guess we'll have to wait and see, is make like a hand discarding deck with Luxray V as the focus. Basically, if you're going to use this guy, you're probably going to have to use him with Hatterene, Stage 2, Humanoid, Psychic Pokemon. You bring it out, both players got to discard a card, so you use it with that, and perhaps there's some other like stage 1s or some other Pokemon in Expanded that do this shit, that discard cards from your hand. I think we might be getting a few in this set as well. I think, what is it, like, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but there's other cards that do this shit, like a Florges line, Hatterene, some other Pokemon do like hand discard shit, and trainer cards do that. So you combine those cards with this guy that's always going to discard a trainer card, and you do damage every time you attack. You get to choose to discard a trainer card you find there. I mean, you get to pick. So it's pretty freaking busted. I think it's gonna be some hand discard shit, and it's gonna be like a lock deck in a way. That's the only thing I can think of with Luxray V. I mean, it's radiating pulse attack. It's not really gonna do much. I mean, auto paralysis, but that's not really that useful. But building a deck around Fang Snipe, always attacking, doing a little bit of damage, especially if you put like a choice belt on, you do decent damage as long as you lock your opponent. I don't want to say it's going to be like Seismitoad because that's like clear direct lock. But this is going to be like hand disruption. You keep disrupting, discarding the cards, and they can't do shit. They're in top deck mode, and then you win basically. You lock them out from doing anything. Pairing this guy with Hatterene and other cards like that, maybe you have an annoying ass deck that I'm gonna hate, but it's a strategy, that's for sure. And then for the last rule box deck you can make, it's gonna be around a VMAX. The only VMAX I'm gonna mention, Heatran VMAX. And the only reason I'm mentioning this guy is because you can probably build a deck that's kind of like the Stonejourner tank deck if people are familiar with that Pokemon. Basically, you bring this guy out. He has built-in healing from his own effect, basically, his own ability. So you combine this with a bunch of other shitty healing cards, like the Ice Cream healing card, where you flip coins until you get tails, and the Team Yell, like towel thing, another healing card. Just a bunch of healing item cards and a bunch of healing cards. What the fuck? Cheryl, the supporter card, effective method. And you basically have a tank deck. You're just going to leave this guy on his own, like Stonejourner, and just heal him all day long, attack with him all day long, 180 with the burn. I guess it's going to be respectable. And your only fear is going to be water decks. I just thought I'd mention it because it is a valid deck you can try out, just like the Stonejourner. I mean, it's going to be some boring shit, I guess, and against water, you're going to die. But it's something for those that want to use a VMAX and build a deck like this. So that's how you build Heatran VMAX, I suppose. And then finally, the only deck I want to mention focusing around a regular Pokemon is using Hisuian Desatai, the regular one, for Piercing Claw. Costless attack, 30 damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. That's the attack you want to exploit. The only reason I'm just mentioning this card and saying, hey, maybe you can build a deck around this card is because it's a stage 2, yeah, so that's already a drawback, but it doesn't need energies to attack. So all of the slots you would need to use for like energies in your deck, whether it's 10, 12, how many energies you were going to run, those are open spots for additional trainer cards and tech cards. So this Pokemon is very reminiscent to me of the old Stormfront Gyarados. That was a very competitive Pokemon and a very powerful Pokemon back in its day. And this guy, I mean, if he's going to work, he's going to have to function like Gyarados. You don't run any energies in your deck, so you have a lot of room for trainers to make it more consistent, and a lot of techs, a lot of disruption cards. So maybe, just maybe, with the right list, this guy can be a deck and an effective one too. I mean, the multiplier If it was 40, it was going to be busted. But being 30 means it's kind of meh. You're going to need a bunch of damage counters for the damage to add up. You're probably going to have to use frogs and zigzagoons. So, yeah, I mean, you're already looking at some cards already in the deck, in the skeleton. It should be good. If you can at least do like in the 150 range before like a choice belt and just try and get 2-hit knockouts, I think it's going to be good. I mean, you're going to need instant recovery because this guy's going to be dying turn after turn. 160 HP isn't shit. It's the truth. Sorry to say. But you might have a deck going for you if you can build it the right way. So that's the only regular, I guess, deck I would give maybe a pass for people that want to try and be serious with. I mean, there's shit like the Regigigas deck, but that's going to be a gimmick. It's very difficult to use. Like, you need all of the fucking Regis on the board. You don't get any bonus damage with Regigigas if you're not hitting VMAXs specifically. I mean, it's just too complicated to use. So I don't really recommend that. But Decide Eye might be something good. And these are basically some of the emerging decks that come to my mind using Pokemon from this set. A lot of variety, as I mentioned, a lot of different power attackers that are going to check each other, you know, grass checking darkness, fire checking grass, you know, darkness checking psychic. I guess that doesn't really matter. What else? I mean, I guess that's that, and water, I guess, too. There's a lot of variety, and I'm just glad that things like Darkrai and shit, if they do become a problem, you do have decks to check them basically. So that's nice. That's it from me. I mean, you guys can tell me in the comments what you think, what decks you're gonna try and build. Are you excited for this set? I'm definitely excited. I mean, Brilliant Stars was a great set, but there wasn't really much when it comes to like emerging decks from that, to be honest. This one, there's a lot of power attackers, just a lot of stuff you can do, and pair up with the shit from Brilliant Stars too, and the other sets. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share this video with your friends. Hopefully, I will show you guys some of these decks mentioned once I open packs on TCG Online. Wish me luck, because this is a big ass set. I think it's going to be difficult to pull a lot of shit, but we'll see. And I'll see you guys then. Saber 054 was I?